Hey guys, thanks for joining me for some gentle yoga today. I made a playlist on Spotify. It's called When the Bones Are Good, and you should be able to find it under my public playlists on my Grateful Kait Spotify. So if you want to pop that on, press play, and then we'll get started in a seated position. So any comfortable seated position. And then close your eyes and start to become aware of the breath. Drawing the breath into your lungs through your nose. And then slowly and with control, releasing the breath through your nose. And now draw your belly button in toward your spine and sit up nice and tall. Coming back to the breath when you lose it. And now draw your shoulders all the way up to your ears and then roll them down the back. Really taking the time with the breath here, stretching out the inhale and stretching out the exhale. Good, and now keep breathing while you listen to me. I've noticed that during quarantine here, I have good days and bad days, just like any other time. So I've also noticed that I do better and I feel better when I take the time to connect each day. So whether that's connecting with others by FaceTiming with friends and family, or whether that's connecting with myself through yoga and the breath and movement of the body, or also connecting to nature by going outside. Any of those things have seemed to help me in my headspace on a daily basis. So the meaning of the word yoga is to yoke or to unite. So taking that into consideration, I just wanted to take this time to get out of our heads and into our bodies together. So take another deep inhale through the nose and emptying through the nose. Good, and now flutter your eyes open if they were still closed. And we'll begin with some just gentle body rolls. So going off to one side first and then rolling to the front and to the other side and to the back. Nice and slow, making sure you're breathing, so maybe you find some kind of rhythm with your breath. And then going the other direction. Good, and then we'll stop in the center. And then take your arms out to a T with the palms out toward the front of you. And then we'll inhale, opening up through the chest and the head comes up. Exhale, the palms come to touch, round the spine, chin comes to chest. Inhale, open up. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the tail. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Couple more breaths. Good, open up. And then we'll lift our arms all the way up, lengthening the spine, looking up at the base of the palms. Inhale. Exhale, we'll twist to the right side. So the left hand comes to the right knee and then the right hand comes behind us, looking over that right shoulder. Inhale, back up through center, looking at the base of the palms. Hands come together. Exhale, twisting to the left. The left hand comes behind, tented fingertips, and the right hand comes to the left knee. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. One more, inhale up. And exhale, hands come down to the knees. So now we'll come to this a seated position with the legs out in front of us. I don't know what time we started, so let me just look at my phone quick. Okay, 1:15-ish. So legs straight out in front of you. And then make sure that there's some space between the legs so that the feet are hips distance apart. And then we'll draw the right knee in toward the chest. So bending that right knee and bringing the heel in toward the bottom. And you can bring it in as much as is comfortable. You can move it out if it's a little bit too much for you. So wherever you are, clasp your hands and then place it right below the knee. And lift through the chest, straightening the back or lengthening the back. And you can flex that left foot and breathe. And then lift the right hand up overhead and we'll reach for that left foot. So you might not reach it. You might only be able to make it to your shin or just under your knee. And that's fine. Just make sure this right shoulder comes into the inside of the right knee. And then if you are able to reach with the hands to the foot, you can go ahead and grab the foot and lift through the chest on the inhale. And exhale, just going a little bit deeper into the stretch. And you can stay right here or you can stay really where we began if that is enough of a stretch for you. If you'd like to take it a little further, you can continue to have this shoulder connecting with the right knee and reach the arm back so the palm is facing toward the back of your mat. And then wrapping, keeping connection to the knee with that whole right arm. And then the left hand comes around the back. And maybe you can touch your fingertips. Maybe you can clasp the hand coming into this full bind. Wherever you are, lifting the chest, shoulders come back. And breathe. Good, and then slowly releasing the way that you came out. Take your hands back under your right knee, lift the chest, inhale, and then exhale, just looking over the right shoulder, coming into a little bit of a twist. Coming back through center with the chest and the torso. We'll go ahead and lift the right foot and bring it onto the other side of the left knee. And then scoot this left leg up under so that it's the left heel is by the right hip. And then take the right hand and place it behind you, tented fingertips. Left arm comes up overhead. And then bending that elbow, we're going to grab the right knee with the elbow. And using that as traction, press into the knee and twist to the right side, looking over the right shoulder. And breathe. You also have the option of taking it a little bit further by straightening that left arm and reaching for the left knee. If you're able to get here, you might want to lift up the right hand and then reach the back of the right hand to the left hip crease. And slowly release. And now we're going to take the hands to assist the right foot and just pull it over so that the two knees are in line in this position. This is Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So you might not be able to get them in line, and that's fine. Just bring them as far as you can without any pain. So a little bit of discomfort is fine. Pain is not. So please listen to your own body, even though you're listening to me as your guide. This is your practice. So the right knee is on top. So we're going to lift the left arm up and then bend the left elbow so that the palm of the hand is touching the upper back. So like the thoracic back spine area. And then we'll take the right hand out to the side, turn it so that the palm is facing the back of the mat, and then bend that right elbow, reaching for the fingertips on the left hand. So you might not be able to touch your fingertips, and that's just fine. Just as far as you can get it is great. And then open up through the chest, lifting that left elbow up, and breathe. Maybe you can inch the fingers a little bit closer together. Some of you may even be able to clasp the fingertips. And breathe. Settling into this pose as the muscles open up. And slowly releasing the hands. We'll take the right foot up and over and then bring it so that the right knee is right by the sole of the left foot. So coming into this little stance here. And then walking the hands out to the left side, coming into a little bit of a twist, and we'll come onto our forearms. So I'll turn so you can see better, but we'll just walk our hands out, and then the elbow should be directly under the shoulders, and press into the mat so you're pressing away using the arms. Lift the chest and really using the fingertips and the palms to ground down, and then pull towards your body with them. So a little bit of traction on the ground here. And breathe. And then we'll walk the hands back up. Leave the left hand by your left hip. And then we'll take the right hand and lift it up. And as we do that, we'll lift the hips up as well, especially the right hip, opening up and pressing the right hip forward. And exhale, coming back down. Good, and then I'll come back to the way that we are. And then bringing both feet out in front. Once again, just like we were before. Let's draw the right knee in just for a moment. And what we're gonna do is place the left hand by the left hip. We're gonna come into wild things. So some of you might not be able to get into the full expression of the pose, and that's okay. You can just play with it as much as you can. So what we'll do is we'll rotate the left foot down so that we're on the pinky edge of that left foot. And then we'll lift the hips and straighten the left leg. So grounding into that left hand that's right behind you. Lift up the hips, lift up the arm. The left leg straightens, the right leg stays bent, and you're up on your tippy toes on that right foot. Reaching the right arm up and overhead. Inhale, exhale. Hold for one more inhale. And exhale, coming back down. Good, and then we'll place both feet out. You can shake them out a little bit. And now drawing the left foot in once again, just like we did on the other side. So bringing that left foot in toward the bottom. We'll go ahead and clasp the hands by the knee, underneath the left knee. Lifting up and breathe. And you can stay here lengthening and breathing, or you can go ahead and try to lift that left arm and bring the left shoulder inside the left knee and reach for the right foot. So you may only be able to come to the shin, but if you can grab the foot, go ahead and reach with both hands and breathe. If you went for the bind on the other side, I invite you to do the same thing on this side. So reaching the left arm out to the side first, so the palm is facing the back of the mat, and then wrapping nice and tight against the leg. And then the right arm comes back behind to meet it. Lift the chest and breathing. Slowly coming out from where we were. Clasping the hands underneath the left knee this time, sitting up nice and tall, and then looking over the left shoulder. Good, coming back through center. We'll take the left foot, cross it over the right knee so it's on the other side of the right knee, and then scoot that right foot in so that the heel is near the left hip. And then the left hand comes back behind us on tented fingertips this time. Right arm comes all the way up to the sky. Exhale, we'll bend that elbow, catch the left knee, and using this to propel us into our twist. Looking over the left shoulder. And evening out so that you're doing the same thing that you did on the other side. So if you went for trying to reach for that right knee with the right hand, please go ahead and do that now. And maybe lifting that left hand up off the mat and reaching for the right hip crease with the back of the right hand. Lifting through the chest and twisting a little deeper on your exhale. And slowly unwinding. We'll use the hands to pull that left foot in so that we can have the knees stacked on top of each other. So this time the left knee is on top. So we'll lift the right arm up overhead, bend that right elbow, and reach down the back. So the palm is on the top of the back. And then we'll take the left hand, palm is facing the back of the mat, and then bend the left elbow, reaching for the fingertips on the other hand. And breathe. Lifting that right elbow up toward the ceiling. Nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Slowly releasing the arms first. And then scooping that left leg all the way around so that the left knee is by the sole of the right foot. Walk the hands off to the right side. And then walk them out until your elbows are right under your shoulders. Coming into like Sphinx arms here. So really creating some space in between the fingers and then grounding down into the hands. Lifting the chest and pressing into the forearms to lift that chest up. And breathe. Good, and then walk the hands back in toward the body. The right hand will stay right by the right hip. And then lift the left arm up overhead as the hip lifts, shifting forward into that left hip. Opening up, stay for a breath, and exhale down. And then we'll come back to where we started with both feet out in front, flexed feet, and draw the left knee in once again, clasping underneath the left knee. Just for a moment, and then we're going to take the right hand off to the right side so it's by the right hip. And then rotating that right foot down so that the pinky edge of the foot is on the mat. And then we'll lift the arm, lift the hips, coming into Wild Thing. And again, if all you can do is lift a couple of inches and that's enough for you, that's fine. Just play with that. And otherwise, lifting all the way up into Wild Thing and holding for a breath. And exhale, coming back down. Both feet come out in front, and then we'll just shake them out a little bit. And then however you can, or would like to get into tabletop pose, we'll meet there. So just making a couple adjustments, making sure your shoulders are directly over your wrists, your hips are directly over your knees. And then we'll take the right hand out in front of us like we're going to shake somebody's hand. And then the opposite foot, so the left foot, shoots out back behind us and flexing that foot so it's like you're kicking the wall behind you. And creating a long line of energy all the way from the shoulder out the hand and from the hip out the bottom of the foot. And take a deep breath. Exhale. You can also take the option of reaching the right arm back and lifting the left foot up until you can catch that left ankle, and then kicking up into the hand if you've gotten there. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. And slowly releasing, not slingshotting the leg or the arm. And then we'll plant the right hand back down, and the left leg stays elongated, but just placing the toe down on the mat. So now shifting forward and back a couple times. We'll stretch out the heel. And then coming back to stillness in the center, we'll take the right foot off to the side of the mat, so it's going to create a little kickstand. And then rotate the left foot down, so all four corners of the foot are down on the mat. And then lift the left arm up, opening up through the chest, really grounding into that right arms and that right hand so that you can press the body up out. Long line of energy all the way from the palm up through the chest, shooting up through the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale. If you've got your balance, you can play with lifting the left foot up off the mat a couple inches. And bending that left knee and reaching for the ankle. Opening up through the hip if you've gotten there. Kicking the left foot into the left hand. Shifting forward with that hip. And breathe. Slowly releasing, coming back down with the left foot. And then just taking some large circles with the arm. Left arm. In the other direction. And plant the hand next to the right hand. And then we'll slowly move to the left so that we're off to the side of the mat. And then walk the hands out in front of you. Coming into kind of like a puppy pose with the upper body or a downward facing dog, just allowing the chest to melt down toward the mat. Hips stay above the knees. And breathe. Walk the hands back in, and then we'll make our way back to the front of the mat, coming back to tabletop. And then take a couple cat-cows here. Just in between the sides. So inhale, the head comes up, the tailbone comes up, the belly lowers down toward the mat. Exhale, press the mat away, round the spine, tuck the tail, chin to chest. Inhale, coming forward with the head up, tailbone comes up. Exhale, press the mat away. Inhale, tail comes up, head comes up, belly down. Exhale, press the mat away, around the spine, chin to chest, tucking the tail. And then coming back to center for the tabletop. Now we'll lift the left hand as if we're going to shake someone's hand with the left hand. And then the right foot comes out behind us, flexing that right foot so that it's like you're kicking the back wall. And then really creating some energy so you're reaching with both that left hand and the right foot. And breathe. And you can stay right here, or if you tried it on the other side, go ahead and bend that right leg, that right knee, and reach back with the left hand, grabbing the ankle. And if you've gotten there, kicking the right foot up into the hand, and breathe. Slowly releasing back down, and then we'll plant the left hand and just placing the right toes down on the mat. Shifting forward and back, stretching out the heel a little bit. And then we'll bring the left foot off to the side of the mat this time, creating a little kickstand with that foot. And now the right foot rotates down so all four corners are down on the mat. And then grounding into the left hand, spreading those fingers nice and wide. We'll lift up through the right arm this time. Opening up through the chest and breathe. If you want to play with your balance again, if you did it on the other side, I like to equal things out, so don't try anything on one side that you aren't going to try on the other side. And then go ahead and bend that right knee, reach for the right ankle, and open up through the right hip. Kicking back into the right hand. Slowly releasing. And then moving into your large circles with the right arm, reaching up overhead and all the way down. And then other direction. Plant the hand back down. And then we'll make our way to the right side of the mat, keeping the right foot planted down, just walking the hands out in front, allowing the upper body to kind of melt down toward the mat. Feeling a nice stretch probably in the side of the right leg and the upper body. And walk the hands back in, and we'll make our way back to tabletop. And then going through a couple more cat-cows. Inhale, head comes up, tail comes up, belly goes down. Exhale, pressing into the mat, rounding the spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good, and now from here, we'll just sit back onto our heels. Take a sip of my tea. If you're jealous of my tea, you can go ahead and pause, get your tea. So starting here in a kneeling position, we're gonna do a little flow. So you can watch me first so that then you can easily go through it. So we'll inhale, lifting the hips, and the hips shift forward as we come up on our knees. Arms come all the way up to the sky, and you can look up. And then exhale, we'll plant the hands and slither through. So keeping your elbows in toward your body, slithering through, coming down onto your belly, and then keeping those elbows in tight. We'll lift the chest, so just peeling the chest up, coming into cobra pose. The hips stay anchored down onto the mat. So lifting the chest, it doesn't have to be a huge movement. You can just lift a little bit. Exhale, we'll come back down. And then we'll move back into child's pose. Inhale as we drag the hands back. And then exhale, hands to heart center. So we'll inhale, arms come up, hips shift forward. Exhale, hands down, slither through. Inhale, press up into cobra. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, making our way to child's pose. Exhale, settling in child's pose. Inhale, drag the arms back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right back into another one. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands down, slither through, tighten with your elbows. Inhale, push up into cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, pressing into the mat to lift yourself up, bringing the hips up and back, child's pose. Inhale, drag the hands back. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, plant the hands, slither through. Inhale, press up. Exhale, come down, and we're gonna stay here this time. So rather than pressing back into your child's pose for the rest of the flow, we're just gonna stay right here for a few moments. So place your hands out in front of you, coming into full prostration. And just allow the left ear to come down to the mat and take a nice deep breath here. Maybe you notice your heartbeat is going a little faster, your blood is pumping, moving the body. Good, and then lift your head up just to look at your hands, and then scoop your elbows in one at a time until your elbows are directly under your shoulders. So coming into this Sphinx pose again with our arms, but now our legs are also in the Sphinx pose. So engaging the legs so that the knees lift up off the mat, and then lift the belly in, lift the chest, pressing into the forearms to lift the chest up, and then also grounding into those forearms and the hands and pulling back so that you can lift even a little bit more. And breathe. And now bring that right knee up and in. So this is an awkward one, half frog pose. So bringing the knee so that this creates a 90-degree angle. And then just staying here for a couple breaths. And now reach the left arm out in front of you, and then we're gonna roll off to the side. So the right arm comes out to a T on the right side once you get over there, and then anchoring down that right shoulder. So both shoulders should be on the mat. If they aren't, just roll a little bit further. And then you can just leave this left arm wherever it's comfortable, or if you want a little bit more on the twist, you can take that left hand on the right knee and just creating a little bit more of a stretch by holding on to the right knee, and breathe. Good, and then we'll roll back over. So reaching that left arm up and over again so that you can roll easily. And then placing the right hand down, we'll just scoot that right leg back to meet the other one, and both hands come out in front, full prostration. This time put your right ear down on the mat, and breathe. Relaxing the body here entirely, all the muscles. And then looking out at the hands, we'll once again scoot the elbows in until we get them right under the shoulders. Coming into this Sphinx pose again, lifting the belly, pressing into the arms so that we can lift the chest, and breathe, engaging the legs so the knees are coming up off of the mat. Take a couple full breaths in through the nose and out through the nose here. And then bending that left knee and drawing it up toward the front of the mat, creating that 90-degree angle with the foot. So the left foot is flexed in this half frog pose. Breathing. Take a breath in and a breath out. And now reach the right arm out in front, and then rolling over to the left. We'll bring the left arm out to a T, and the right arm can either stay where it is, or it can come to the left leg to just help us in this little twist. Both shoulders are anchored down, so really pressing into that left shoulder. Reach the right arm up overhead once again so that we can roll over. And then press the left leg back to meet the other. Full prostration once again, arms out in front. Left ear comes down to the mat, taking some nice deep breaths through the nose here. Good. And now we'll take the hands and put them right under the shoulders and bring the elbows in close to the body. And just press into the hands so that we can make our way back, coming into tabletop. And once you've gotten here, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and coming up into downward facing dog. So trying to make a V shape with the body. So we'll press into the mat with the hands, and then the shoulders come back. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Lifting through the hips. And then pedal out the feet. So lifting one heel at a time. Lifting both heels and lowering them. You can bend your knees here too if that feels good. It's better to bend the knees and have the torso lengthened than it is to try to straighten the legs and then have a round in the spine. And now bend the knees and slowly walk to the front of the mat. And bring the heel toe the feet so that they're mat distance apart. And then you can bend the knees here also, grabbing opposite elbows. Just allow your body to hang here in ragdoll. You can shift from side to side, swaying. And then shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Release the tension in the back of the neck. And breathe. You can bend more if that feels good. Just allowing the upper body to really overflow or waterfall over the legs. And then tent the fingertips and just walk the feet in so they're hip distance apart once again. Inhale, arms come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then place the thumbs against the chest. And just take a deep inhale through the nose. And empty out the lungs through the nose. Good, and now I want to take a couple minutes to just do a little shaking meditation. So you don't have to shake, you can dance, you can do whatever kind of movement feels right for you. Just finding some movement. And luckily nobody can see you, you guys can see me, so I probably look like an idiot, but you're all alone, so, or maybe you have a partner with you, I don't know. Just don't stop moving until I tell you to. So shaking out the hands, shaking out the feet, moving the feet or keeping them stationary. Just moving in weird ways. You can switch directions. Keeping on breathing. Good, and then come back to stillness. Hands at your sides. Shoulders back, belly in. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Notice how the stillness feels after all that movement. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, coming into a forward fold. And then just slowly bending the knees, coming into a little toe stand, so you're just up on your toes. And then you can come up on them a little bit higher and bring them back down, just finding some movement here as well. Good, and then plant the hands. We'll step back, coming back into downward facing dog, and then lift the right leg up into space and draw it through to the right thumb. Lower the left knee down to the mat and untuck the back toe. And then lift the arms coming into Anjaneyasana, looking up in between the hands. And breathe. So really stable in the legs here, so that then you can lift out of the hips, lifting the chest up toward the sky. One more breath. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. And then we'll tuck the back toe here once again, and you can use blocks if you have. I don't have any, so I can't use them right now. But we'll just find some organic movement here in this Anjaneyasana. So shifting back, and then forward on the inhale. And then exhale, coming back. You can lift the toes toward your body if you want a little bit more of a stretch. And then untuck the toes, and then we'll heel toe the right foot off to the right side of the mat so that the hands are planted down hips distance apart. So coming into lizard pose here. You can stay right here if this is enough of a stretch. This is opening up the hips, so a lot of people have tight hips. Another option is to come down onto your forearms. So one at a time, just placing your forearms down. And you can either do Sphinx hands like we had done before, or you can bring your hands together, fingertips together. Wherever you are, lift the chest and breathe. Another option, if you want to take it another step further, you can tuck that back toe and then lift the left knee off the mat and breathe. Exhale, lower the knee down if you did take that option. Coming out the same way you came in. And then heel toe the right foot in toward the center so the hands are both framing the foot. And then tuck the back toe. We'll lift the right foot back into space. And then plant it down next to the left foot. Lift the left foot up into space. Exhale, bringing it through to the left foot. Lower that right knee down, untuck the right foot. Lift up, Anjaneyasana. Really stable in the legs. Lifting the chest, lifting the upper body. Looking up in between the hands. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot. And then we'll find some movement here once again. So you can use your blocks, holding one block on either side, or just tent the fingertips. Inhale, forward. Exhale, coiling back. Inhale, forward. And back. And then stopping on your next exhale. exhale or inhale, we'll heel toe the left foot off to the side this time, coming into lizard pose on this side. I'm going with whatever variation you tried on the other side. Breathing and lifting. Grounding into the left foot and the right leg. Tucking that back right foot and lifting the right knee if you did that on the other side, and breathe. Exhaling, lowering the knee, coming out the same way you came in. Back onto the hands and heel toe the left foot in toward the center. Tuck that right toe, bring the left foot back into space. Exhale, plant the left foot to meet the right foot. And then lower the knees nice and wide, mat distance apart. Big toes come to touch. And then sit the bottom back onto the heels, reaching forward with the hands and breathing. See if you can walk your fingers out a little bit further toward the front of the mat. Good, stay here for a couple more breaths. Press into the palms of the hand and drag the left hand back toward the body, and then thread it underneath the right arm. Landing gently on that right shoulder, and breathe. Press into the right hand to lift the chest just enough to bring the left hand back out. And then press into the palms and the hands once again to bring the right hand back toward the body. Threading the needle this time underneath the left arm, landing gently on the right shoulder. And breathe. Press into the left hand, drag the right arm back out into child's pose. And then drag both hands in toward the body. And we'll slowly make our way to our bottom. So just scoot your legs out from under you, however you can to get there. And then scoot forward on your mat a little bit. Soles of the feet are down on the mat, knees are bent. Lift your arms up, palms facing each other, and then engage the core and just slowly roll down onto your back. Good, and once you've arrived here, move the heels back so that they're almost touching your fingertips if you're reaching your fingertips down. And we're gonna come into a bridge pose with some movement. So first, I'd like you to lift the tailbone so that the small of your back touches the mat. So when you're laying down normally, there's a space underneath the small of your back. So when you lift the tailbone, you'll notice that it lays flat, the spine lays flat. So what we're gonna do is press into the hands. So the hands are palms down and the arms are down at our sides. So we'll press into the arms and we'll lift the tailbone, and then like a zipper, we're going to unzipper the back. So moving slowly on the inhale, and then on the exhale, we'll zipper it back up. So as far as the spine goes, we'll inhale, lifting the sacral, and then lifting the thoracic, or lumbar, and then the thoracic. And then when we lower down the upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. So pressing into the palms and the arms. Inhale, lift the tailbone first. Unzipping. Exhale, slowly lowering the upper back. Lower back. Tailbone. Inhale, lift. Tailbone. Lumbar. Thoracic. Exhale, thoracic. Lumbar. Sacral. One more time. Inhale, lift. Peeling the body off. Exhale, down. Good, now place your hands over your belly and walk the feet so that they're mat distance apart. And just slowly lower the knees to one side and then the other side like windshield wipers. Neutralizing the spine after we did a little bit of a back bend. And now heel toe the feet so that they're hip distance apart once again. Hands come back to the sides, and then we'll just lift the feet up off the mat and then find some movement in the ankles. So maybe your toes will crack like mine did, or just you know, opening and closing the toes and then pointing and flexing the feet. Maybe trying to straighten the legs. Just spending some time inverted, getting the blood flowing in the opposite direction. We're on our feet a lot, sitting down a lot, so it helps to get the legs up in the air. And then come back to stillness with the legs. Just allowing them to float up in the air. Stay here for a couple more breaths. And then exhale, your legs come back down, soles of the feet down on the mat. Lift the right leg up, and then the right heel comes right in behind the left knee, flexing that right foot. And then we'll take the right hand and put it through the little hole we've created as we lift both legs up. Both feet are actually flexed in this. And then clasp the hands behind the left thigh. And take a deep breath. And exhale, drawing in the legs to the chest. And on your next inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lifting that left leg up. Exhale, down. One more lift. Exhale, down. And then allow that sole of the left foot to come back down onto the mat. We'll cross the right leg over. So it's just like you're crossing your legs when you're sitting. And another option, if you can, is to wrap that right foot around the left lower leg. So coming into eagle pose with just our legs. And then wherever you are, even if you're just crossed this way, just allow the legs to fall to the left side. Bring your right arm off to the right so it's coming to a T. And then keeping your shoulders down on the mat and breathe. Legs come back into center, unwind the legs. Placing the soles of the feet back down onto the mat, we'll lift the left foot this time. The left heel comes right behind the right knee, so not on the joint, but right behind it. Coming into this figure 4 position, we'll lift the left hand, place it through the little hole we've created, and then clasp the hands behind the right thigh. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale, drawing both legs in toward the chest. Inhale, lift the right leg up toward the sky so you're like walking on the ceiling. Exhale, bring that right leg down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more breath like this. Lower that right foot down. Cross the left leg over the right. Maybe you can do that Garudasana, eagle legs. And then lowering the legs over to the right side, coming into a twist. Left arm comes out to a T. Lifting the legs a little bit if you can't anchor down that left shoulder. Legs come back through center, unwinding the legs. And then draw both knees in toward the chest, wrapping your arms around. So maybe you can grab opposite hands, maybe you can grab opposite wrists or forearms or elbows. Drawing the tailbone down toward the front of the mat. Tuck the chin down toward the chest just a little bit. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, squeeze a little tighter, giving yourself a nice big hug. Giving yourself some gratitude and giving yourself a hug. We all need some hugs, and you know, some of us can only hug ourselves at this point, so staying in this embrace for a couple more breaths. And on your next exhale, lowering all the limbs down onto the mat. Coming into final Shavasana. So if you want to put your socks on or your sweatshirt on, turn off the lights. Anything to make you feel a little more comfortable and cozy. I encourage you to stay here for this Shavasana. So especially in our home practices, it's easy to just get up and go now that we're not moving anymore. But there's a lot of benefits to this Shavasana here. Soaking in your practice and all the movement and all the opening up that we've done. So just start to deepen your breath, no longer controlling the breath. Just allowing it to flow in and out. Palms face up. The feet can just flop open. And I usually do hands-on assists at this point in class with some oil. So if you do have some essential oil, you can go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, you can just stay put. And if you have some oil, you can place some on your hands and then just working your fingers in the inside of in between your eyebrows. Just giving yourself a little bit of a massage there from down the bottom and then working it up through the forehead. And then keeping connection, bringing it all the way down to your temples, giving yourself a little massage here. I don't know where my oils went. And And then again, keeping connection going behind your ears and then all the way down to your neck. Just massaging out your neck a little bit. Coming down to your shoulders. And then bringing your hands back to your sides, palms facing up. And just staying here in stillness for a few more minutes. And if your mind starts wandering off, that's okay. Just gently bring it back. This can be the hardest part of the practice. Forces you to slow down. Kind of like this whole social distancing and work from home thing. It's forced a lot of us to slow down and sit with our thoughts, sit with our feelings. It's not easy to do. But nothing worth it is easy, really. And start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Reach your arms up overhead, taking a nice big morning stretch. And then roll onto your right side, drawing your knees in toward your chest, coming into fetal position. And bend your right elbow, creating a little pillow with your right arm. And coming back to that intention or theme from before with connection. And then press into your left hand, making your way into a seated position. Right where we began. Thank you for letting me guide you today in your practice. Namaste.